Everybody hear me? All right, here we go. Good morning, everybody. Um, this morning, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the construction protocol for new properties. During and after construction, of a residential property, there are issues that can be discussed early on before they become an issue later on. Construction meetings are important. Um, these meetings are very important, as this would be the time to discuss items of concern, such as updating work progress. That is always kind of going to be one of those things. It's a fluid situation. Work progress can be delayed by many other, extenuating circumstances. So it's always important to stay updated on the work progress. Looking up for where your storage, your maintenance shop, utility rooms, things like that. Usually that's going to be something that we usually pull out the plans, and we can look into plans, get with the project manager for that building to discuss those kinds of things. Again, any possible construction delays that may delay the scheduled move-ins. As you guys know, that can be anything, could be lots of things. Scott. Yeah, thanks for that, Scott. Um, of course, the discussion of the CO, the certificate of occupancy, which probably will happen many times during this process, as the construction delays and the work progress, again, is a very fluid situation. So things can happen, especially now. I mean, with COVID and everything, and the supply chain issues, we find ourselves having a lot of those discussions and delays. It's just one of those things that kind of goes with the territory. Um, let me see if I can move on here. If I can go to my next slide. Again, we have next thing up would be unit punch walks. Scheduling the dates and times of these walks is important, and it must be, kind of hopefully done in a way that is, again, um, done in a way that we're not going to be running into units that aren't done. Ensuring with construction companies that the apartments are complete and the unit systems are confirmed functional before the punch walks are scheduled. For some of us, sometimes that's not always possible. We have seen times where, they didn't always get around to getting all the startup done, but they want to start punching. It's not a good idea. I don't recommend it. But sometimes we do have to make accommodations just to make sure that we are meeting the goals and getting move-ins as fast as we can. But it's really important that those systems are started, ran, and checked prior to us walking. You don't want to be going in there and having to ask why a heater's not working. I don't have any hot water, for example. Everything like that should have already been through a startup process, so that you shouldn't be having to ask why certain things aren't working. Always be detailed punching the units. Obviously, we have a good document that we like to use for punching units, but you will find from time to time that the construction entity may have their own system that they want to use. But again, when you're detailing the punch units, you want to touch everything, operate everything. Make sure that there's just nothing that you haven't touched, and that includes everything down to opening up opening the cabinets underneath the sink. Reach out, look at that stuff. Make sure you got your plug tester with you, so you're testing the plug underneath the sink. Check the piping. Obviously, you're going to run water through the sinks, in the tubs. You're going to flush the toilets, things like that. There's just nothing. Don't leave any stone unturned, basically. You want to make sure that you've looked at everything. Open and close all the doors. Close and lock the doors. It really is very important that you're very, very, very detailed. Identifying what forms, again, I touched a little bit on that. Sometimes it's our form, sometimes it's a construction person's form, but whatever it is, make sure that there's a good form and that we are getting copies of that form once the walk is complete. We usually turn those into construction, but either make a copy yourself and then turn them in, or get a copy either way, so that we have a record on our side of what happened inside the units. Again, always be prepared. You should have a hard hat, safety vest. You know, I know about you guys, I keep a hard hat and a vest in the truck with me at all times. Closed toe shoes. You don't want to be up there walking around in sandals or any kind of open toed shoes, because these are going to be construction sites mandating safety at all times. Have blue painter's tape available to you to mark areas needing that drywall and touch up. I can tell you that I have currently right now, one of our entities, construction entities, will not allow us to use tape. And that's just, we just don't use the tape. Don't like it, but we try to be accommodating. Again, try not to keep any kind of tension between construction and us at a minimum, because things can get a little tense when certain guidelines or certain benchmarks are not met. Have an outlet tester with you. That's very important, because you're going to be testing all the outlets and switches. Going to my next one, the unit punch walk list. Again, check all items for functionality: plumbing, faucets, toilets, tubs, showers, garbage disposals. The electrical, we want to always check the GFIs, the outlets, lighting fixtures, bath fans, ceiling fans, electrical panel. You don't want to have any gaps around the breakers, and that gap can also have a lot to do with just how the breakers are set at the right depth. So it's important to follow that. Flooring installation is completed correctly. I know we have a lot of LVB planking going in right now, and it's not uncommon to see gaps and stuff in that planking. Your HVAC, you're going to test the unit for cooling. You're going to test the unit for the heater and the thermostat. I recommend, or at least this is how I have my team do it. That's the first thing we go to when we get into a unit. We'll go straight to that thermostat, turn on the system, so that while you're still punching other things, you're going to give that system some time. It's not like you can just turn on an air conditioner or a heater and it's going to be blowing out hot or cold air immediately. So you want to give it as much time as you can, although the punches are supposed to stay kind of, you don't want to be in a unit too long, but you also want to give that system a time to prove that it is working correctly.
Hey, Daryl, can I jump in?
Sure.
Just wanted to make sure you can hear me. One of the things you want to check too is when you're checking the electrical panel, sometimes where they're doing some work, they're checking on certain items dealing with electrical. So if you go in and several breakers are shut off, turn them on to check what you need to check and make sure you put them back into the position that you found them, because that might interfere with construction doing their work.
Yeah, I would only add to that, Anthony, that if you walk into a unit and you have breakers off, do not turn those breakers on until you have confirmed that there isn't currently any active work being done on any of those circuits. Again, lockout, tag out procedures aren't always followed in new construction. So be very, very aware that if a breaker is off, there may be a good reason that it's off. So
And that'll
double
be
check.
covered when you have your first meeting before you do your walks. One of the things you want to find out is there a general note? For instance, all the thresholds might not have been delivered yet, so every single unit won't have a threshold. You want to make sure you're not writing the same thing over and over and over. You just put that as a general note, threshold, so you don't check that. And like Daryl said, one of the things you want to do is during that first initial meeting, find out, is there anything I shouldn't be checking because of safety reasons?
Good point, Anthony.
Just a little tip from your
Good
Uncle
point.
Anthony.
Yeah. So we're going to go on to the windows. You want to obviously open and close all the windows, ensure that they are locking, make sure there's a screen in place. Some windows, if it's that type, have a crank. You want to make sure that that cranking opens and closes. Doors, you got the knobs, strike plates, doorbell, door stops, door viewer, window coverings, and closet doors. Again, you want to operate those things. You want to close and open the door, ring the doorbell, make sure, again, that everything is working. Kitchen and bathroom, you want to do the cabinets. So you want to make sure you're opening and closing the drawers. I know that there is a lot of different kinds of cabinets out there. You've got some hinges, I've seen recently, they've got the soft close drawer glides and hinges. If you find those, it's important probably to have maybe a note put in. I like to see the residents have a little bit of training if you have that type of stuff, because if they do have the automatic closers or soft closers, if you force a drawer or something like that, it can break the actual mechanism. Anthony, you got anything on that?
Seems all covered.
The exterior walk. So you want to expect all the common areas, amenity areas, the courtyard, sports courts, swimming pools, jacuzzi, spas, fitness centers, gardens, and the BMP areas, and all ADA routes and signage and dumpster areas. Typically, these kinds of exterior walks are something that needs to be scheduled with. I can't get my cursor to do what I want. Okay, I've lost my cursor. How special. All right, there we go. Um, again, the outside is important. That walk is usually something that I like to see scheduled with the mechanical. You should have all your vendors, or the construction should set up that kind of a walk with all the vendors. Anthony, you're having most of your stuff videotaped, aren't you?
That's correct. One of the things we started doing was when we do our warranty binder walks, we walk with the subcontractors and they go through what needs to be done for preventive maintenance, how it works. We're recording that. So if we have a maintenance personnel who, let's say, gets promoted, quits, this guy gets kidnapped by space aliens, whatever the case may be, we have that recording that was done by the subcontractor, so the new person comes in can learn how all the equipment works.
Yeah, and mind you, those recordings can be anywhere from a very low production value to a
Low.
higher low, like no script. Sometimes the recording could be just Bob going, "Yep, that's where the shutoff valve is, and that's how you turn it on." We kind of
That's
we
true.
this typically we like to see a little bit more substance to the video, so sometimes we have to be asking questions, and you don't want to be afraid to do that. So if there's something you don't understand or you don't feel that the explanation is getting you a good comprehensive knowledge of whatever that system is that we're talking about, say something and ask them to go into more detail. um, Address matrix. So this is to ensure that the address on all unit numbers are confirmed. There are times that the address can be different than from what construction has told us, and that's happening more than I'd like to admit. So it's important that you know that the matrix that you have is going to line up with the files whenever because that's what happens. Sometimes if we're not checking that matrix, it may not be until you're actually moving somebody in and you're like, wait a minute, that was supposed to be a 1-bedroom, but on the matrix it shows a 2-bedroom. So it's important that that matrix is kind of vetted and kind of scrub it to make sure that it all makes sense. So we move on to keys. All keys to all doors to be confirmed. Typically, you have that confirmation only after the keys are issued, and we want to go out and test those keys. There shall not be any working or existing master keys or construction keys after we've been turned over to management. Again, that is something really important that we make sure that we do obtain those construction and master keys if they exist. There are properties that or developers that will use a key system that when you put the house key in there for the first time, all the master pins and stuff kind of drop out, but there's also those that do not do that. So we want to make sure that we're aware of the type of locks you're getting, and that if that's not the case, that we do get those keys back. Keys shall be placed in an authorized lost box in a secure designated area. Remember, you to have a full set of white tags and a full set of red tags. And for those that may be using a key track system or something like that, that does not eliminate the need for the red the red tag key box. It won't be kept in the key track system, but it will be a box off to the side somewhere that has the red keys in it. The key code list should be maintained and away from the key box. If it's a fob system in place, there shall be a training session to go over the details of how to use that system, again, like a key track or something like that. But again, that code can be kind of, you know, I don't know, Anthony, what do you like for codes? I sometimes keep it simple, but it's not like we have a set thing for a key code. Do you,
Yeah, that's
Anthony?
true. We don't have a standard. We should put something like that together. Right now, if you are at a property where your key code list is right next to the key box, move it away. Find someplace else to put it. Because if someone breaks in, they'll say, "Oh, look,
Yeah.
now I know where all the keys go to the units." So
Yeah.
please move that away.
Agreed. We shall move on to the maintenance shop. We want to confirm the FF&E budget, furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the maintenance shop equipment to include tools, the PPE, janitorial supplies, safety gears, shelves, ladders, and whatnot. Confirm the maintenance shop designated area, confirm property needs for the maintenance shop startup list. And that is really kind of a challenge sometimes. As you guys all know, we usually try to go into a stabilization period after we're leased up. So it's important that we have enough supplies, specifically with janitorial and stuff like that, that should, again, get you through the stabilization period so that you don't have to buy any of that kind of stuff. That shows stability. Again, you're going to have to obtain the RPMs for approval to order the maintenance startup items and then order and arrange for that delivery. It's also very helpful, whatever you can get information wise or details of the property during those construction meetings, type of locks so you know what kind of key, and that would be important, right? So you know what kind of blanks you're going to order. Filter sizes, again, you want to order at least enough filters to do one unit by unit. And again, you don't want to be buying those filters after we're leased up. You'd like to get that cost before. Warranty binders. Oh, Anthony, you got anything you want to add on the maintenance shop and the startup orders?
We have a standard list that we use, and then depending on the budget, we go ahead and adjust accordingly. But hey, Daryl, we're gonna have to move along a little bit.
Okay, we're moving here. Warranty binders for equipment and trades. Arrange and set up a meeting through the general contractor or project superintendent, a date and time to go over all the equipment and different trades used to construct the property. The warranty binder will play a physical binder or a thumb drive or both. The warranty binder will have all the information about materials, equipment, subcontractors, and use for the project. It is suggested and recommended that these meetings and tutorials be recorded for future reference. Equipment. You got, depending on the property, to include the HVAC, water heaters, boilers, chillers, solar panels, elevators, safety and suppression systems, fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems, the electrical shutoffs, breaker panels, equipment locations, low voltage, TV cable, fob system, camera system, security alarm systems, plumbing systems, the water supplies, the drainage, sewage, backflows, boilers, chillers, and cleanouts, landscape and irrigation, backflows, irrigation control panels, the BMPs, bioswales, dumpsters, trash chutes, and dumpster enclosures. So again, and to kind of just give you guys a little summary, since we're running long here, you got blueprints, you've got your elevator blankets should always be left up because that is constantly going to be one of those things. But in conclusion, when it comes to new construction, there should always be items that are defective, equipment that may not work, areas noted that present an issue that may have been overlooked. And this is why we noted to be defective, not working, not installed correctly, must be noted. Please make sure you guys keep track of all those deficiencies. Sometimes it's not until later you see something like that. These items need to be addressed as soon as possible and make sure you document it again. It's very important to ensure building systems have a preventative maintenance program in place and to be budgeted annually. That's something that you probably want to get with your maintenance supervisors at the end. We have any questions?
We'll take questions, I guess, after I finish.
Okay. Well, Anthony, I want to thank you for taking this meeting with me today.
Oh, that's not a problem, Daryl. And I think I know why you wanted to meet. Is it about the upcoming REAC inspection?
That is exactly right. You see, I wanted to know who are the people that are going to be on the team for the REAC.
No problem. Let me break it down. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Who's on unit by units? What's on walking the exteriors? And I don't know is creating the REAC binder.
Wait, who's on what?
No. Who's on unit by units?
I don't know.
No, he's on the REAC binder.
Wait, what?
No. What's walking the exterior?
What's walking the exterior?
Correct.
Wait, what? Correct? What's correct?
I hope so. We don't know until he's finished walking the exterior.
Until who's finished walking the exterior?
No, who's not walking the exterior? Who's doing the unit by units?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know who's on the binder.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. Who's on unit by units?
Correct.
Correct? What's correct, Anthony?
No. What's not correct? What's walking the exterior?
Anthony, I don't know.
I don't know I don't know who's creating the REAC binder.
Well, neither do I.
Okay, Daryl, you asked me about the incredible maintenance team that's helping prepare for the upcoming REAC inspection, and I told you the names, and now you're all confused. What's with you, Daryl?
Nothing's wrong with me, Anthony, okay? Look, I came here to know exactly what the game plan was for the upcoming REAC inspection, and all I get is a bunch of BS.
Wait, Daryl, did you say a bunch of BS?
Yes, I did, Anthony.
Well, what do you know? That's the name of the inspector.
You got to be kidding me. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay. So,
Comic relief.
let's see here. Uh-oh. Okay, so now let's get into the REAC, and we'll go through this real quickly. And how many people here have done a REAC? Probably a few. I don't know how many, but probably a few. So REAC defined. A REAC stands for Real Estate Assessment Center, and it's an inspection of a property that has HUD. HUD is the Housing and Urban Development for financing. Their goal is to assess the condition in HUD housing that promotes safe and decent, affordable housing. Now, there's a lot of work that goes into doing a REAC inspection for the preparation. Okay, and we'll go through that real quickly. Okay. Okay, step one is communication, and step two is refer to the existing REAC binder or preparation of a binder. Okay, now the communication has to go through everyone involved, which would be one, your portfolio manager, the RMS or the RMD, the site manager, the site maintenance supervisor, if there is one there, because sometimes we may have an opening, and ownership. We have to communicate with ownership to let them know about cost. And step two is the REAC binder. The REAC binder is going to have everything that it needs for the inspection. It's going to have information about the property itself. It's going to have information about things like the parking lots, and if you have fire suppression systems, you're going to need certificates for that, because if you have a fire suppression system, you got to have the 5-year, the 1 year, the annual. All these different things are going to be requested by the inspector when they get there. And if we don't have it, that's points off from us. Okay, part of it's going to be site maps, floor plans, that kind of thing. Step three, to coordinate and organize a site inspection with the regional maintenance supervisor or the RMD, regional maintenance director. You got to give a notice to the residents to let them know, one, we're going to be coming in to do the inspections. We're going to be also doing, letting them know that we're going to come back again to do the repairs, and you're going to let them know also that it's possibility that we're going to come back in to actually do the REAC inspection. Now, the REAC inspection itself, they're going to be picking units at random. And so if you have 200 units on a property, they'll do about 20% of the units. And then those will be the ones that picked and be checked. Okay. So the whole thing about doing a REAC inspection is you have to be detailed. very detailed about what you do. So when you go into a unit, it's best to start right from the beginning at the entry and go in a clockwise position and go all the way around and follow that same way. That way you can keep track of everything that's in that unit. So when you go in to do repairs, if the person who inspected went in a clockwise position, then you know that the first bathroom would be the first bathroom, not master bathroom or guest bathroom. It'll be every bathroom that comes first when you go in clockwise. That helps with the repairs as well.
Staying
Okay, you want to
consistent.
be everything about REAC is safety, functionality, and safety. Functionality is lower points, safety are higher points that are removed. Inspection day. The inspection day, several things you need to know. One, you got to be prepared. Two, you have to have one person designated to be ready to go to talk with or walk with the inspector. He or she is going to have their own way of doing things. And so you want to make sure that you follow what they want to do and how they do it. They're going to ask for different things. We're going to give that to them through the REAC binder. And if everything is up to date, you should be good to go. One of the things you don't want to do is if when the inspector gets there, well, first of all, one of the things you want to make sure is your curb appeal is there. If you have good curb appeal, it lets the inspector know that you care. It lets them know that you are taking care of the property, and it puts them, believe it or not, in a good mood. But if, let's say, you got red curbs that are not painted and up by the monument sign, there's no color, or the vegetation there is messed up, they're going to say they don't care, and then that inspector is going to start taking points and
Yeah,
really getting deep
if
down
I could,
into
Anthony,
detail. Go
just
ahead,
one
Daryl.
thing. You know what? That sets the tone for the whole inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the minute the inspector drives up to the property, if he can't even get into his parking lot and get out of his car without already noticing something, the tone has been set for that inspection. So it's really important that that curb appeal and that first 10 minutes goes well.
That's correct. And another thing too is once the inspector gets there, you can offer that person bottled water if you have some, but nothing else. Don't give them donuts. Don't promise them anything. Don't ask questions. Just let them do their thing the way they're going to do it. Okay. Uh, some of the things you want to look for is health and safety defects and then non-health and safety defects. That's what they're going to be looking for. And as you can see on the screen there, you got air quality, you got sharp object hazards, fences, grounds, refuse, storm drains, all these different things can lead to a lot of points coming off. Talking about points, we'll get to that in a second. Non-healthy, but they can remove points from you is overgrown vegetation, graffiti, and damaged, faded, or missing signs.
And just add one thing too: be careful because they can write you up from a adjoining property or your next door neighbor. If their trees or anything are over our property line and touching the building, you can lose points there for that.
That's correct. Uh, one of the biggest thing about scoring is single building versus multiple buildings. Multiple buildings are considered scattered property. So if you have 20 buildings on a property, your scoring is going to be different and you have a better chance of passing. While a single building, like a mid-rise or a high-rise, if they find one deficiency, that's going to be full points right off the top. So if you have a single building, you definitely want to make sure that you are very detailed in your preparation. How points are deducted? You start off with 100 points, so you're doing good right from the beginning. But as soon as they start getting deficiencies, they start removing points. Same way that if you go to a restaurant and you in your mind you have this is the person's tip, and the worse they get, there's the money taken off from that tip. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so the levels of severity for deficiencies. Level 1s, 2s, and 3s. That defines when they find something small wrong, they have a level 1, 2, or 3. Life and safety and health and safety. Life and safety is going to be the worst. A life and safety thing could be something like a light switch cover is missing. That means someone could put their hand in there and get electrocuted. Health and safety would be something like a cable line going across a walkway. You can trip and fall, and because of that, that's a health and safety. But when they notice things like screen has a small tear in it, that could be a level 1. Screen is missing, that could be a level 2. The screen is broken and it shows but it's still there, that could be a level 3. Okay, so you got to understand your scores and how do you want to do it. So if recently we have gone from getting prepared, getting the notification that we're going to have a REAC You used to get 30 days, sometimes even 60 days. They've changed that. We now have only 14 days to prepare for a REAC inspection, which means that we have to maintain our properties all throughout the year. So when a REAC inspection or a TCAC inspection for that matter comes around, then all we have to do is sharpen up the dull edges. That means we just go in there and then go over stuff that we should have already been doing. Okay, an appeal of a score. If you get a bad score, and here's how the scoring goes. If you get anywhere from a 90 or above, they're going to come back for another REAC inspection in 3 years. If you go from 80 to 89, they'll come back in 2 years. If you go from 70 to 79, they'll be back the following year. And if you get anything less than 60, you failed. And you don't want to fail. Not
And
good. The
Anthony,
appealing of a score, there is a proper protocol to follow if you appeal a score, which brings me to telling you about if you see something that the inspector is pointing out, but you disagree, you bring it up, you mention it, and if they don't change their mind about it, well then you just wait and another time and you do the for the appeal. Okay, never argue with one of the inspectors. Okay, so we have exigent, which is the worst types of deficiencies you can get. Missing electrical outlets, blocked unusable fire emergency exits, that kind of thing. Examples of priority interior items, if you can see, entry doors, weather stripping, windows must close, must lock properly, smoke detectors have to be in place, GFIs are to be tested, electrical sub panels, clearly the breakers got to be clearly marked. Right? These are the kind of things we have to look for. Okay. You also have appliance tape, stove burners, garbage disposal. Make sure everything needs to work. And it's got to be detailed. The more detailed you are, the better off you're going to be. Okay. So that was pretty quick. I wanted to go in a little more detail, but in conclusion, the REAC inspection is very important. It's absolutely important for several reasons. One is it affects the ability to manage affordable properties and to acquire new business. And that's very important for ConAm. Also, it's also very good because if we have a good REAC inspection, then you know the property is going to be the way it's supposed to be. Attention to detail, working properly, and that's what we do. We provide a product or our units to a warm, functional, and safe place to live. The inspection preparation is truly a team effort and should be approached as such. Everyone has a hand that's involved with it, from the site to the regionals, and in some cases, all the vendors that come in to help. So that being said, that was a quick run through. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. Anyway, any questions from anyone? No? Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time here at the REAC inspection.